What the fuck is going on, people? Welcome to the Round 7 review. It's the Carlton Essendon MCG thriller at the MCG. Oh my god, what a vibe. What a day that was. I'm so relieved to be doing this after a win and not a loss. I just want to start by saying that yesterday was as good of a day out that you can possibly get as a human being. For me, anyway. When you think about, and we get so sucked into the week to week of the season, and we're already 7 rounds in, and we were 2 and 4, and all of that. But when you strip it back and you look at things from a bird's eye view, and you have a look at what happened last year and footy taken away from us, especially those of us in Melbourne, and not being able to go to the MCG, all of that, and yesterday just had it all. As much as I'm going to give Essendon shit in this video, the rivalry and the tension and the fighting and the banter, it's what made yesterday what it was. Part of what made yesterday what it was. And I just can't explain how much fun I had yesterday on all fronts. And I don't want to win by 10, 11 goals. Now, fuck that. I want it hard. I want it difficult. I want there to be stress. I want there to be no question about our ability to, withstand pressure and all of that. So it was phenomenal. We ended up winning 19 goals, 9, 123 to 16 goals, 11, 107. High scoring shootout. It was an actual classic Carlton and Essendon matchup. And we all know, yes, I understand, we should be beating Essendon and all of that. And so we shouldn't, be getting too excited. But at the same time, I mean, the two teams always put it on for each other. They always lift. They always find something. And I think the fear for me during the week was, have we lost the players? And do they care? Do they know what the rivalry means? And I was a little worried because of how they came out against Collingwood. They didn't come out with the same, vigor as what they did against Essendon. And I was worried that they didn't care as much as what the fans were, because. Look, listen, the channel is great, and I do my very, very best to, stay practical and host, as opposed to, carry on too much and try to keep it as professional as possible. Want to make sure that this is a good, practical representation of the fans. But when Luke Parks tackles Tipper, I'm fucking screaming to, it brings something out of me, like something irrational comes out of me, and I become a devil. I'm a demon. And yesterday, how fucking good was that? Honestly, how fucking good was that? I had so many stories. Where do I begin? Where do I begin with my experience? Getting on the train, there was a massive dust up with 2 guys, and it was really tense. I thought they were going to fight, and it was a bit of a precursor to the day. And there was an older couple sitting in front of me yesterday. I was on level 1, 2 Essendon supporters, a husband and a wife, a little older, and 2 seats to the right of the gentleman were empty. And the seat to the right of that empty seat was a Carlton gentleman, a little older as well, who had an old school woolen Carlton jumper on, looked really cool. And, so there's 2 seats in between them, and the Carlton gentleman, he wasn't really being a loudmouth or anything. If anything, I was lipping off from the get-go. I was absolutely lipping off, because the one thing about fucking Essendon supporters is they cry for free kicks that are not there, and I wasn't having any of that in my bay yesterday. Not one bit. So I was making sure to respond to any holding the ball call or anything like that, to make sure that I knew that they're not going to be having that type of afternoon. Then the Bombers go up by 3 or 4 goals or whatever it was. And then the Essendon gentleman, moves away from his wife to sit 2 seats to his right, to sit right next to the Carlton gentleman. And the Carlton gentleman is, like I said, a little older, and he didn't want any of that. If anything, I wanted it. But this Carlton gentleman didn't want any of that, and he's screaming at him, what are you doing? Stop sitting next to me. And the Essendon guy was just sitting there and just goading him, and got really tense. Quarter time comes, it was a fucking scene. It was a scene. There were kids, there were parents screaming, it's a family event, blah, blah, blah. And then I had to sort of break bread with the Essendon man, just sort of say, mate, just come and sit in front of me and give it to me. And it was insane. The tension in the crowd was insane. And I'm sure if you were at the game yesterday, please detail a story in the comments about tension in the crowd and your experience, because I'm sure it happened everywhere. And it just added the spice to the day. The first quarter was fucked, mate. Let me tell you that. The first quarter was, the fear, that gut sickness that, I think some of us had during the week, that really came to fruition in the first quarter. I didn't know. I mean, we just, the skill execution, and then this is a theme that's going to be spoken about all week because we've got to get better, but the skill execution from us, oh my God. And then Essendon, it seemed like anytime they wanted the corridor kick, they were able to get it. They were able to get the corridor kick anytime they wanted. And it was frustrating. And then probably halfway through the second quarter, I had a bit of hands over my mouth. I'd been lipping off all game because I can't help it. Like it comes out of me. And I'm sitting there literally like this, just thinking about everything. Honestly, like my whole Carlton life flashed before my eyes and I'm thinking, fan cams are going to be a disaster. The club's fucked. We're going to lose this game. They don't care. They haven't come out to play. We're just not getting better. Like just all the negative thoughts. I thought it was the collapse. And I don't know what happened. They just gritted it out. And Paul Sebastiani speaks about it. He spoke about it last week on the Jumper Punch. Good teams mitigate the damage. And I thought we did a good job of mitigating the damage in the first half. Having said that, a lot of that damage was due to just our inability to stay composed under pressure. We were banging it on the boot as soon as we could. And it's just a sign of a team that's not quite there yet. To their credit, the second half, so much better. And that was the thing as well. We're only down by 2 points at halftime. And we hadn't really played very well. Harry wasn't really anywhere near the game at that stage. Paddy Cripps, we'll talk about him in the player ratings as an individual, but he wasn't really amongst it up until half-time, and I knew that I felt that Essendon had given us their best, and to be only down by 2 at half-time was very important, and then, the third quarter started coming around, and then, it was back and forth, and it was positive, it was negative, and they were bouncing back, and look, to their credit, Essendon's pressure on the ball carrier was fantastic, and that's just mental. They good on them. Young kids, energy, all of that. But we have some young kids too that provided some energy, and that's probably the other takeaway from the game. There's the notion of just play the kids and put him in there, and I've been a little hesitant because it's like, oh no, you can't because you've got to have some senior experience out there. And I thought yesterday was very crucial for us and we're very blessed to be, the Carlton Football Club and supporting the club because we are a big club. We play, a lot of our home games at the MCG and games like that yesterday. I'm not saying it was a grand final, but it had that, war zone type atmosphere and a lot of one-on-one contests and a lot of moments. And those are the types of moments that you see in finals. And that we get like a practice run at playing finals footy, and it had a little bit of that about it. So you got to see what happens with certain players when those moments arrive, and I thought our young kids really stood up and they provided the spark, which then was infectious for the rest of the players. And, to have the responsibility thrust upon Parks, thrust upon Stocker, put on Cunningham, like Cunners. Mark Murphy and Zach Williams are not in this side today, Cunners. It's got to be you today. And to see Cunners, arrive and do what he needed to do was just great. So the accountability was great in that third quarter, and got goosebumps. The fight. We haven't spoken about Matt Owies absolutely putting one on. I think it was Redmond kicked the goal in the goal square after the 50-meter penalty, and then the fight broke out, and then it was on. And I'm 150 meters away from the fight. Oh my God! I'm standing up in the bay. I would have been one of the only few standing up, and I'm fucking punching my chest. I'm like, fucking get into him. Just loving it. The Carlton cheer squad would have been right behind it. What I would have paid to be sitting in the Carlton cheer squad when that fight broke out, I don't know. For the most part, I'd like to think I'm pretty composed. It's fucking 6:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sweating talking about this game. Something comes out. Something comes out when we play that team. It's the best. So that happens, and then the fourth quarter happens. There was probably a point in that fourth where I think we'd iced the game. I think Harry kicked a goal to really put him away, and they made a bit of a comeback late. But the game was over, and it was so good. it was such a good day. And, for me personally, on a personal documentation note for when, my grandkids and great-great-grandkids are watching this video in, decades from today, to come back to Australia, it was literally for days like yesterday. I had my brother next to me, and, the last time we had an experience like that was probably a 2013 elimination final. That was his first final, and to have him there next to me, what was it, eight or so years later, that's what it's all about for me. And I've traveled the world, I've seen amazing things. I'm telling you, nothing in the world is as good as footy at the MCG against, a rival or a final, whatever. Zero, nothing compares. It's the best sport in the world. And it's kind of like the rest of the world has to see this because it's just too good. I just loved it. So, am I going to get, do we have a lot of improvement to come to beat the Doggies next week, for example? Absolutely we do. Should we be getting carried away? Absolutely not. I think we all understand that there's quite a few things that need to improve, ASAP, because there are some serious deficiencies. But, are we going to soak up this win and enjoy life for what it is in the moment? Because to be honest, all you really have is the moment right now. Absolutely, we're going to enjoy this. It's more than football. It's more than 4 points. It's more than 4 points when you play those fucking scumbags, So good. It was so good. It was so fucking good. That it's just a vibe, honestly. Player of the game. Who is it going to be? I mean, Sam Walsh. You sort of got to give it to him. I mean, I want to rotate it a little bit just to give someone else some things, but it's got to be Sam Walsh. He wills himself. I think I saw somewhere that he ran like 17 kilometers, and he does the team thing. He takes the team option. He doesn't blaze away for his own glory. I'm so happy for him. There's a lot of guys that I'm happy for, especially the young kids. And yeah, but I'm going to give the player of the game to Sam Walsh. And I want to cut this video off because I'm just going to ramble. Player ratings are going to be so much fun. And tonight's going to be fun. The show, Monday night, the Blue Broad show is going to be fun. Really, it's so hard because I have a really deep understanding of, yes, sport is not everything, but sport is so important to the fabric of society because it brings people together like almost nothing else. You can hug strangers and you can show love and create love with strangers because of a sporting interest that you have in common. And I just love it. When you find the thing that you love, you just go for it. And this is what it's all about. I think a lot of us just love to go to the footy, love to be around it, and you can't win every week. That's the reality. But, when you are the Carlton Football Club, we are a winning, that's what it stands for. It stands for winning. And that is why we are the envy of the rest of the competition, because of, how much pressure we put on ourselves to win when it's not happening, and how much we enjoy it when we do win, So, I'm very happy. I'm very excited. This week's going to be so much better than what it could have been. But please share with me your experience yesterday. I want to see different points of view. Where were you sitting? Were you at home? I know it was Orthodox Easter yesterday, so a lot of you maybe didn't go to the game. But yeah, share with me an experience in the crowd or an interaction, not just for me, but for everyone else to read as well. And we'll sift through the comments. Stand by for the player ratings. I can't fucking wait. I can't fucking wait to throw out the 9s and the 10s all video and put the absolute mayonnaise on top of it. I will see you in the comments. I'll see you in the player ratings videos, and I'll see you at the Blue Broad show Monday nights. Let's go. Go the Mighty Blues.